Hey guys, this is Barbertown and welcome back to another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle video. In this video, we've beaten the Omega stage of Red Zone with Extreme only teams. So for those of you that need to know what the mission is, you need to use an Extreme team with one of each typing. So Physical, STR, Tech, AGL, and you need to use one of each of those typings and then go and beat Omega with a full Extreme team. And yeah, it was tough. It was definitely harder than I thought it would be. Honestly, I don't think I'd be able to do it without Cooler. Cooler was just kind of everything here. He did so much for us. He just had solid defense as well. Like, it's not often that you associate having like literally rock solid defense with a unit that's doing 3, 4, 5 super attacks, critting, like doing all this stuff, but then also after they super having like 500k defense. I get that Cooler's not even supposed to be a slot 1 unit, but when he's fully built up, he had a well over 300k defense and was tanking normals from most of the enemies. So hell yeah, he went in slot 1 sometimes when I needed him to. In terms of our rotation, so you can see like a couple of the units that we have here. We've gone for the Janembas, so Tech and Physical Janemba, Cooler, and then Golden Freezers pretty much make up the team, and then I've kind of thrown a Broly in there just to be a slot 3 unit, just for his damage reduction, multiple supers, that kind of thing. But yeah, most of the focus is on the Janembas, the Coolers, and the Freezers. Freezers, like, I say that Cooler's an MVP. The Freezers are just so useful, just because you can throw them onto any rotation and they'll just have damage reduction, as long as you can stay over their percentage thresholds, which I think for AGL is 40% and for Tech is 50%, but when Tech drops under 50% he still gets other damage reductions, so absolutely fine there, as long as you're trying to stay over the HP thresholds. In terms of items, I did go for double Whis. I do find that to be the better option. Just the extra damage reduction, especially when overall you've got it for 4 turns. If you're in a sticky situation, especially with this team, once units are starting to get built up, they do have naturally quite high defense. So just throwing a Whis down, you're not going to take very much damage for those 2 turns. We're still blasting away with Cooler here, so what this is, turn 2. So this Cooler's only had 1 chance to be on rotation so far. So Cooler, I think he has to get like 10 attacks in to be fully built up. You can kind of tell when he's fully built up as well, because his active skill will become available. So that's kind of the telltale sign you look for to know, oh, is my Cooler fully built up? And of course, when he is, he will be double supering as well. So we'll guarantee double super, as opposed to all the other supers that he's doing. So at this point, I know that Janemba doesn't guard in slot 3, Physical Janemba. But where we were against an enemy so early on, I needed to start building Physical Janemba's defense up, to be honest. So I threw him slot 3, assumed I'm not going to take too much damage, I'm going to be guarding with type advantage. I should be fine against into Omega, so I do take the gamble to throw Physical Janemba into slot 3. And this is one of the examples where I've thrown Cooler into slot 1, and he hasn't got me killed. So he can do a job in slot 1. Probably not against like the Cell Max event slot 1 kind of thing where he's taking normals, but in something like this where the normals aren't too strong, you tend to be okay. So getting supered here against Cooler, but we have already attacked, so we've already done 3-4 super attacks there. We take 100k. That's really not the end of the world. One of the other important things to notice, I've just looked down at our HP as we've gone through the run, is activating the Metamorphosis link. So what, 4 units on the team have Metamorphosis? 2 Janembas and the 2 Coolers. So especially on this rotation, for example, where we've got 3 units all with Metamorphosis, that's 5% HP each. It's very critical healing. And then we look here, so you just look at this rotation. When you look at how much HP we have, I can just tell you that this rotation is not getting touched. We've got AGL Freezer with 90% damage reduction, Tech Freezer with 80% damage reduction, and Cooler's getting a super before he gets hit. So nothing to worry about. Cooler, I think this is this Cooler's 2nd turn on rotation. Already sitting like a 5 million attack stat. bear in mind, he is like stacking his attack on his 18 key, which we are trying to get every time. Another one of the features of Cooler is that it does get easier to reach that 18 key because he's giving himself key with each attack that you do. So by the time he's been on rotation once, he's giving himself so much key that he should be fine. He should be quite self-sufficient. I say should. But yeah, you look at that turn. We took literally no damage. And again, you can see Broly literally just getting thrown into slot 3. He was just there to kind of fill a need for the int unit. I need an int unit that wasn't going to instantly get me killed, but could be useful later on. Tech Janemba does surprisingly come in clutch as well. So, you know, Tech Janemba is a bit weird for his passive. You need to get him so many orbs. I think orbs are our friends there. You see, Cooler just took 400k from a super attack. Your eyes did not deceive you. That is the difference between him getting supered before he attacks and him getting supered after he attacks. We saw him get supered earlier after, and he took, I think it was 98k, whereas he just got supered there before, took 400 and something. So, yeah. I understand not slot 1, but he shouldn't get you killed. By the way, my Cooler's 55%. I think this is my one on rotation here. Yes, my one. So 55% Cooler. It didn't get me killed in slot 1 when he got super. I mean, bear in mind, this is only like the first stage, though. And yeah, everyone's just going blasting. Like, I'd say try and go a bit slower so that you can build up your units. But honestly, I don't think we've purposefully missed a super at this point. So even Broly there taking double digits from normals, which is pretty much what we want there. We just wanted a unit that wasn't going to be a liability for us. So looking at it here, I can finally get Cooler and Janemba onto rotation. Quick defense check tells me that Janemba shouldn't die, even to a super. And ideally, I would have liked Janemba in slot 2, but looking at it, we were gonna kill the enemy either way. I think Janemba's locked into that position, which is why I had to leave him there. Actually, no, looking at it, it was because if I put Cooler there, Cooler might get us killed if he got super. I thought Janemba was just the best option. So, we are past the int stage, on to STR. At this point, really thinking that we have a good chance of getting it done. Like, I've got my rotations kind of sorted. It depends how much Omega's going to try and cuck us. But at this point, I was kind of fairly confident that we'd be getting through this run. The hope was there. So again, you can see me learning a little bit there. I was like, I don't need to put Cooler into slot 1 there. I think I managed to get Janemba. I definitely got Janemba's support passive. I don't think I got enough rainbow orbs for his extra damage reduction. But you can see that, again, I wasn't 100% here. Through the Whis down, so I figured that's 2 turns. Janemba's not taking damage. Of course, we get supered slot 1. So it's, again, you don't put Cooler slot 1. Even Janemba guarding with the extra Whis damage reduction took nearly 100k, was it? So, yeah, other than even physical Janemba wouldn't have survived that because of type disadvantage. So, any other unit there probably would have died. And then we let Cooler go blasting. It's always annoying when you've got a unit that does multiple supers, when the first super, the 18 key is the one that gets dodged, but then all the 12 key weaker ones hit. Like, I'm grateful that the run finished, but it could have finished a little bit quicker if that 9 million attack stat that could have crit would have hit. Then where we know that Omega's already supered here, we don't have to worry about him supering again, so Cooler was absolutely safe there. Again, we know that he took 98k after all of his attacks. So, even if we got supered there, especially with a Whis down, we should have been okay. So now we can get Janemba into that slot 2 again. So I'm looking at it here. We've got decent defense on Cooler. Cooler is pretty well built up. With a Whis as well, Cooler should be okay in slot 1. I can put Janemba in slot 2 just because I think Janemba goes up 22% up to a max of 66% per attack. So I've only done 1 attack with him in slot 2 or 3. So I needed to get Janemba back into that slot 2 just so I could start getting the most out of him. Also, it helps with the Dokkan attack. that if I'm hitting it with Cooler, I'm doing a lot more damage. I'm going to get a lot more healing than I would with physical Janemba. Janemba wouldn't do too much damage here unless he got a crit. Whereas Cooler's just going to, you know, put his tail on the table and start slapping. Start throwing down. And he does all of these additionals, and yeah. This run is pretty much the Cooler show. Like, looking at it, I don't know what other leader skill I maybe could have brought to kind of beat this. Like, if I didn't have Cooler, even a 55% Cooler, which is all mine is, I don't know what other leader skill I could have brought. Maybe bringing a Tech Janemba as the lead, so that you're still getting corroded bodies and he's boosting other extreme types, and then bringing a Cooler friend, potentially that could work for you. It would take a little bit of playing around, but that may be the only other option that I can think of. A lot of these units would fit on maybe the Dokkan Fest TUR STR Cooler, but he himself would probably get you killed, so it's a hard one. Cooler, I think, is a necessity for this run. Isn't Broly getting the supers in now? Like, I did start to become more worried about him, especially in the SDR phase, because I think it's only like the second time he's been able to attack. He does double super, which is very useful for us. I think we still had the Whis on there as well. But yeah, I was a bit scared that he was going to be taking too much damage. Again, here we can put Cooler into slot 1 because we're not getting attacks before we attack. So no issues there either. Janemba's, I think we hit Janemba's support type of ability there as well. So just really trying to make sure that everyone's okay. I think Cooler even manages to clutch it here. I can't remember. I think he does just go ham and kills Omega. Punchy, punchy. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe I'm misremembering. But either way, you can just see like Cooler's just done 3 health bars of damage to Omega here. He's absolutely... He's smashing it. He's doing everything that we wanted and could possibly need of him. Like, he's just so OP. It's just ended up being a video of me just raving about how good Cooler is. You see there, Janemba taking 80k per normal there. I couldn't get the key to super with him, so we still would have taken decent damage, but it would have been a little less, because Janemba does raise defense on super attack. That would have been more helpful, but yeah. And again, you can see here, I was torn. I think, yeah, ultimately, I think I opt with popping the active skill just to maybe get through to Omega. I can't remember what I do. Yeah, so I put Janemba into slot 1 just so I could get the healing with that one physical orb. Like, every little bit of healing helps. And then, yeah, I popped Cooler's active skill. Might have been premature, but with STR enemy, if he's supered, he would have killed Janemba. I think normals before we attacked would have killed Cooler, so I didn't really have too many options there other than to use our active skill. At least it got us to this stage. So again, at this stage, I'm looking at it like I've still got 1 Cooler's active skill, I've still got a Whis in my back pocket, and I've got reasonable health. I know I'm only taking normals for pretty much 2 turns. So let's just throw down, let's see how much damage we can do. Let's go blast! And this turn's pretty much the turn of active skills. We get Broly's off. I think we ping off Coolers again as well. You can see we managed to get... We don't think we get the passive support there from Janemba. But where we got so many rainbow key spheres, he's got his extra damage reduction. So even though he's type disadvantaged, he's not taking too much there because he's got his own damage reduction going on. Okay, Cooler's active skill just does massive damage. What, a bar and a half of health, and it disables an attack as well, so that's an extra normal we don't really have to worry about. I don't think I pinged a Whis off this turn. I think I figured that with Janemba's damage reduction we'd be okay. So 40k there from a normal. Again, I know at this point we're just taking normals this turn, so it could have ended up looking a lot worse than it did, but you just have to trust the damage reduction and that kind of thing. And then Cooler goes blasting. So, Cooler's already done his active skill. He's then followed that up with, what, an 8 mil attack stat and a 6 mil attack stat, and then there'll be another 6 mil attack stat. Like, he's just raining damage down. And we need to do that, to be honest, against this boss, because we know that by the time it gets to the end of the second turn, we're going to be getting hit with an attack that's going to be awesome in power. So, not awesome in a good way. We needed to be slapping. We needed to be getting some damage on the board. Broly there, 3.2 mil. He has just activated his active skill, so this is probably going to be one of his better turns. But again, with Broly, I'm just grateful of any stack that he's getting in. Even now, he's taken 154k from a normal attack. Like, it's a lot of damage. Looking at this here, I was in a reasonably tough position. I can see that we're not getting hit in slot 3. So I decided to put Janemba into slot 2 to tank the super that's going to be coming our way. At least with Janemba, he's guarding, he's got type advantage, and thankfully I've got the Whis on. If anything, this was a good turn to not be getting hit in slot 3, because with AGL Frieza, I think we were just under 40% HP coming into the turn, so he wouldn't have had his damage reduction going on. Thankfully, I can put Cooler slot 1 in this situation, because we know he's not going to be getting hit by anything other than normals. So with the Whis down, I'm pretty confident that with 300k plus defense, the Whis, Cooler's not taking damage in slot 1 here. And we know he's not going to get supered. So I'm looking at it here, like, if I can just survive this turn, I'm in, because I'll have another turn of the Whis. So it's at this point, like, I'm even more, like, sitting a bit further back out of my chair, like, we could have this here, guys. It's taken me a good couple of attempts to kind of get the right team build, get the best RNG. And then it's Janemba's turn. And I'm thinking here, if Janemba doesn't die, but with everything we've got, the guard, the type advantage, the Whis, like, I'm like, we're fine. And then he does super. And we dodge it! Well, we nullify it. So we take 0 damage. Thank you, Janemba. So he has, I think it's a high chance of nullifying beam supers. And yeah, you just see that come in clutch there. So with Janemba, we've got a second turn of a Whis up. I'm like, as long as we can get to Cooler, I'm confident that we win. I'm very confident that we win. Janemba, we've activated his passive, so we were good there. And yeah, 10 mil attacks that there from Cooler. Omega doesn't dodge, thankfully. But yeah, you just see that in that one attack, he's done a whole bar of health. And in the end, like, at this point, I'm like, yes, come on, let's go. But yeah, that's the mission completed there. It's so Cooler reliant. Like, if you haven't summoned on Cooler, it's hard at this point, because he is arguably the best unit in the game, and he's not going to be coming back for maybe 8-9 months on global. So it's so hard to say not to summon. I mean, maybe see what's coming for part 2 before you make up your mind. But this Cooler is simply just a must-have. Like, again, from my point of view, there isn't another unit out there that could do this mission. Anyway, guys, that's Barwood Town. That's the video. I think I throw the team up that I used at the end of here. Yeah, I do. But yeah, thank you for watching. If you like the content, by all means, like or follow or sub. And yeah, have a great day.